Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Lex. In today's video, I actually want to do some plant chores. I have to go through all of my IKEA greenhouse cabinets and give them a good clean, and I really want to just reorganize them. I have 3 IKEA greenhouse cabinets. If you don't know, I have a Milsbo tall, a Rudsta wide, and I have a double Detolf that I custom built. I recently just watered all of the plants the other day, so I actually just want to go through everything today and just give it a good clean in there, wipe everything down. I clean all of my IKEA greenhouse cabinets and my big greenhouse that I'm sitting in here once a week. I treat it as regular household cleaning, and I just clean them while I'm cleaning my house, and it makes it a lot easier. I know that a lot of people struggle with that and they say like, oh yeah, I only clean it like once a month, but I like my things looking very clean and shiny all the time. And I figured I would move a few plants around because I'm kind of getting a little bit bored with the look of it. I've kind of been in a little bit of a rut with my own plants. I actually explained this in my previous online plant shop vlog. I do have my own online plant shop, and sometimes it's hard for me to care for both, and I end up putting only focus on these plants in here, these are all the shop plants. So then I end up neglecting my own collection that I keep in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet. So what was happening was that for like a week or two, I wasn't feeling that great. I wasn't putting any effort into my own plants. They were getting watered, but I had failed to remove the water from the saucers for like days, and half of my plants ended up like suffering because they were just basically bottom watering for like days. Since then, I've gotten so much better with it. I'm caring for them again. I'm really just trying to find a better work-life balance, which I think that I'm doing a little bit better of, but I'm feeling really good now. They're all looking so much better, and I'm proud of myself for just getting myself out of that rut. I'm gonna take you guys through me cleaning, and then I'm gonna give you guys a tour at the end, and I hope you enjoy. First cabinet I am going to work on is the Rudsta. For the most part, I don't mind how this one looks. It's more so the Milsbo that needs a lot of readjustment. Look you guys, my Hoya multiflora is in bloom. These are the coolest flowers ever. They call this the shooting star Hoya because of how it blooms. It's so pretty and cute. Alright guys, let's clean. I just finished cleaning out all of the cabinets. I had to actually stop recording because my maintenance guy here had to come in here, so he probably thought I was a crazy person because I had plants everywhere and the freaking camera out, and I had like a plant like chore video on. He probably thought I was like a lunatic. And then I got also caught up in a few plants that needed some attention, so I kind of just like reacted right away and like forgot to turn back the camera on, and then I just ended up just finishing. So I had to repot a few plants, trim down a few plants, stuff like that. So the first cabinet I will show you guys is my Milsbo, which is in front of me here. So if you hear that sound in the background, it's the fan right there running. So I kind of moved everything around again because I was going through a little bit of a phase where I just wasn't tending to my own plants. I kind of already went into that, but yeah, sometimes I get in this weird phase where I get like bored of my plants or I'm focusing on other things. So I figured if I just clean the cabinets out and move plants around, it would make me not bored, and I kind of really like how everything is looking now. So on the top, it's very sparse because I always have a hard time with like this part of the cabinet anyway. I moved back the luxurians in here. I actually moved back the big Monstera albo, the Thai, and the luxurians back in here. And the reason why I moved those 3 plants back in here is because this cabinet gets so humid. Obviously it's not showing that right now because it's open, but this cabinet gets so humid and those 3 plants really thrive in here. I had moved them out for like, you know, decoration purposes and my Detolf. I just think that they are gonna do much better in here, so I moved them back in here. So I have the Anthurium luxurians here, Anthurium dorayaki, Anthurium silver blush, and the Anthurium king. This plant, man, I don't know, it just doesn't like barely do anything for me. It's finally putting out a new leaf, but that's him. I have a little pink princess at the top, and then my little succulent plant, the little fuzzy one I always talk about. So it's a little sparse up here, but I kind of like it because I don't want the cabinets to feel so overcrowded or like me favoring like one cabinet and just putting all the plants in there. So I've tried to like spread everything out. So this is the bottom portion of the cabinet. Like I said, I moved the big elbow back in here and the Thai. I just know that these guys do way better in here. The elbow is putting out a new leaf, and the Thai is actually working on getting a new leaf, so I just want to get them back in here as soon as possible. I have the Philodendron Florida Beauty. I moved it from the top to the middle portion here under the light. I have a cutting of the Monstera Adansonii mint just in water. I just stuck it on this little shelf thing, and if you're wondering, I've talked about this before, my pegboard and the little accessory shelves, they are from Modern Aqua. You can just go on their website and look for the cabinet that you have, and you can select the pegboard that fits, and then all the little accessories fit the pegboard. Right here I have my Thai constellation, and then down here is actually the big Amydrium that you saw. So I cut it down quite a bit, and I cut its moss pole so it could fit. It was just getting really tall. It was literally from the bottom like all the way to like the top glass, so I wanted to cut it down. I cut it into 3 sections, so I have the bottom cut here, I have this little top cut, and then I have another cut in the Rudsta. So this plant is like really easy to care for, but I've been struggling to keep the propagations alive. I've cut that plant a few times now and tried rooting the cuttings in water, and every single time it has rotted on me. I'm hoping this time it doesn't rot. So this was the top cut right here, and its aerial roots actually were in the moss, and it had a lot of aerial roots, so I just decided to stick it right in soil or my soil free mix. So I'm just praying that it actually does good and doesn't like get all like sad on me. But yeah, this is the top cut, and it has like a new one coming in the back. And then I just have this little riser in here. I don't know, I have a bunch of these, so I just kind of stick them in the cabinets and figure out what to do with them later. But yeah, this is what the bottom looks like. The Monstera albo, I needed it in here because it just takes up so much space because of all of the air layering and stuff. I just stuck it in here. I think it looks better in here anyway. So my Rudsta is actually looking a little bit better. Like you guys know, the Rudsta is my least favorite cabinet, so I tend to neglect this cabinet a lot, but I kind of like how I did it this time. I have my Syndapsis over here, White Princess, the Hoyas are all in the middle. I don't have that many Hoyas in my own collection, but I tend to try to keep all the Hoyas together, so I kind of really like that. And all the Hoyas are in either Leca or Pon, and they're doing really well. I have a little cutting of a variegated Bromars here. Then over here I have my Aglaonema Pictum tricolor collection. I've been propping these. This plant is such a slow grower, you guys. This was the original plant, and it was literally a branch that was like this long and it just had like 2 leaves at the top, and then it like rotted because it was like an import, and then I had to like, you know, rehab it. So I had cut it all into like just individual branches, like literally was like that, and it had no leaves. And finally within the last few months it's put out like little baby leaves, but I keep them all here. Here is actually all of the Alocasia Jacqueline corms. I harvested like 10 or more corms, so I just have them in this Tupperware and I just stuck it on this little riser here. So this is what the bottom is looking like. I have the newer Monstera albo over here on a riser. I have the Monstera obliqua Peru here. This is the other cutting of the Amydrium. I kept it on the half of the moss pole that it was already stuck to, so I had just cut the original moss pole in half, and then I just kept this, and then I just potted the aerial roots right into soil because it had a whole bunch. Hiding back here I have the Ceratus mirabilis. This is a Anthurium, I believe you pronounce it Anthurium quasmorelens. It's a little bit bright over here, so I apologize, but this is the Philodendron white wizard. My very, very sad Epiprenum albo. Y'all know that this poor thing went through root rot. It's just in a vase of water. Some days it looks better than others. I don't know. Right now it's super droopy. I changed the water today, so hopefully it gets a little better. And then at the bottom, which I'll show you guys a little bit closer in a second, this is the Philodendron Jose Bueno, and then it's top cut right here in water. So I got a little bit creative in this corner here. This is a diagonal shelf that's from Modern Aqua, but it's actually fitted specifically for the Milsbo. I took it out of the Milsbo because I needed some extra space, but it actually fits almost perfectly in here. I had to just secure the little edges with like really strong like double-sided tape just to make sure, but it's like super sturdy. Even with this glass on here, they make really, really good acrylic shelves, you guys. They're nice and thick and I just love them. But I'm actually really happy that this actually fits here because I was just keeping it like underneath of the cabinet. I wasn't using it, so I was like, oh, why don't I just try to stick it here? But it actually worked out great, so I'm happy about that. And then at the bottom, you guys know I'm just using another acrylic riser right here. I got these ones from Target. They were in the front, that little section when you first walk in. It's like a acrylic desktop riser or something like that, but it came in like a pack of 2, so I had bought a whole bunch and I use them in the cabinet. So I have this one here, and then I have this little tiny one here that I got like from Amazon. It came in like a pack. I just try to use height to like my advantage and like use risers, like some taller ones, some smaller ones, and that usually helps with like the design. So yes, this is the Rudsta all cleaned and ready to go. And now I'm going to show you guys the Detolf. This is my double Detolf. If you want to know how I combine these, I have a video on it where I briefly explain how we did it. I'll link it in the description and I'll put it at the top so you can go ahead and click that. Originally this glass was over here, so I moved it over here, and the reason I moved it was because the fan is right over here. It's up here and this shelf was here, and what was happening was that all the plants that were here were drying out within like probably hours or less than a few hours. And I had my Anthurium queens over here, which by the way, my queens were literally perfect and they just kept drying out so fast, and it's my fault in the end, but they look like crap now, and it's because they were just drying out so fast and I was like neglecting them like I was telling you guys. So I moved the shelf over here where it doesn't get so much air. I have my 2 queens here. I had to cut one of the leaves of this one because it was so bad, you guys saw, and then I just like hid the ugly ones in the bag. But it's okay, they'll grow a new leaf and it'll be fine. I have them on risers, so you can see I have like a tall one and then like a shorter one here because they are plants that hang down like that, so I just like to have them on risers so they have the height. I just put my bottom cut of a little pink princess. I do plan on selling this little bottom cut. I'm just waiting for it to make a growth point and then I will list it for sale. And then I moved my little seedlings in here because same situation in the Milsbo. They were right under the fan, they were drying out, and all of a sudden they just weren't doing good. So they're in here now, they'll be fine in here. I have one on a riser in the back, and then I just have the other 2 just like this. So over here I just put the big pink princess, and I'm still kind of reworking the Detolf, so it's kind of all over the place, but I will get to that like another day. I just needed to get these plants in here, you guys, but the other 2 cabinets are pretty much done. So I have the big pink princess. I have all of these pink princess cuttings that I've taken from all of my pink princesses. These are all just a bunch of top cuts that are rooting in water. So what I've been doing for the shop is, out of my own collection, I am taking the top cuts, rooting them out, and then I'm selling the bottom cuts and the mid cuts, and that just allows you guys to have a fully rooted plant. And then this is just a Syngonium elbow cutting. This is the cutting that I put in pon. It's actually doing really well, so I plan on doing a pon update video really soon. And then I have a Syngonium Panda Galaxy here. This one is beautiful. Has like really nice variegation. So over here I have a Philodendron Ring of Fire, Philodendron Golden Crocodile, which look at both of these leaves at the same time. This one's got the red and that one also has the red. And then I have a Philodendron Florida Ghost over here, which is actually putting out a new leaf since being cut. And I have the top cut as well. So I'm deciding if I'm going to sell the top cut or sell the bottom cut. Over here, I just have a little propagation of Philodendron Silver Stripe. And then at the bottom, I don't know what's really happening down here. I'm figuring it out still, but all the Syngoniums are down here. We have this Syngonium Albo. These are just really like big and mature top cuts of a Syngonium Albo I had, which I sold the bottom. Syngonium Confetti, Syngonium Mojito, and then over here I have the Syngonium Aria. This was an import. It's doing way better now. I put out a variegated leaf, thank goodness. Syngonium Red Spot Tricolor back here, and then randomly I just have a variegated Burl Marks back here. And then down here it's pathetic. I just have the Alocasia Jacqueline that I kept for myself, and then I have the most disappointing plant I've ever had in my life is the Philodendron 69686. It has one regular like leaf and then all of them are like juvenile. Like, it's so stupid. I actually referenced this plant in my packing and shipping video. I got it from a well-known shop on Instagram and they literally put it in a little pot and threw it in a box, and it had no packing material. It had nothing. I'm not even lying to you. And then when I got the box, mind you, it was shipped with UPS, which is like awful. The box looked like it was stepped on. I opened the box, the plant was completely destroyed, had no packing. Like I said, it was like completely just tore up. I messaged them about it and basically they told me like, oh yeah, well, things happen, you know, UPS is gonna do that, whatever. Okay, well, if UPS is gonna do that, how come you guys just didn't pack it right? Like, that's like absurd to me. I don't know. They just did not pack it right and they just did not want to do anything for me. Like, I would just never do that to a customer of mine, especially if I was at fault, like at least like sort of at fault. Like, I get UPS had like a lot to do with it, but also like they didn't like put anything in there. I don't know. It was just like super annoying, pissed me off. It made me never want to shop with them again. But yeah, I think that's why I also hate this plant so much, because it has such like a bad story. This cabinet, like I said, I'm still working on it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me cleaning out my cabinets and reorganizing things. I hope it maybe give you some inspiration for your own cabinets as well. Let me know in the comments, do you guys have a greenhouse cabinet? Which ones do you have? Do you like them? Your experience with them? I really love mine. I talk about them all the time, so I always like to see what other people have as well. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!